how we work with and navigate feeling uncomfortable emotions. And I was reading from a book by Pema Chodron, who's a Buddhist nun, and she gave the example of the analogy of when you have poison ivy and you feel like you have an itch. That's kind of like these uncomfortable emotions. Like you really want to scratch it. You have this urge to scratch it. But if we start scratching it, then it starts to spread. So these uncomfortable emotions and situations that we find ourselves in are kind of like that itch of when we have poison ivy. And the scratching is sort of like our reaction or our habitual response to those uncomfortable feelings. So she gives us a pathway and some guidance of how do we manage them and navigate them. And the first one was to acknowledge it. So sometimes we go through and we have these emotions and we don't even realize that we're having them. So step one, which we talked about last week, was just to pay attention and to acknowledge the feeling. So this week she says step two is pause. Take 3 conscious breaths and lean in. Lean into the energy, abide with it, experience it fully, taste it, touch it, smell it, get curious about it. How does it feel in your body? What thoughts does it give birth to? Become very intimate with the itch and the urge to scratch it, and just keep breathing. Part of this step is learning not to be seduced by the momentum to scratch. Like Ulysses, we find our way to hear the call of the sirens without being seduced by it. It's a process of staying awake and compassionate, interrupting the momentum, and refraining from causing harm. Do not speak, do not act, just feel the energy. So as we kind of go through what's happening right now, there's lots of things that are coming up, and it's really easy to just kind of get sucked into the momentum of it and just kind of lash out or ignore it and sort of check out and ignore it and go watch Netflix and just zone out. But there's something, guess what? The emotion's going to come up again. So if you ignore it or react to it, it's just going to keep happening. So can we kind of pause, take 3 breaths, and lean into it and feel it fully? And that's really what we do when we're doing this physical. You're feeling sensation in your body. You're feeling the movement. You're feeling, if I do these kind of activations and activate these muscle groups, what does it do to my body and what do I feel in my body? So the physical practice is just kind of like a gateway or a training ground so that we can deal with the harder things, the emotional things of feeling really intense emotions, of feeling uncertainty, of feeling worry, of feeling fear, of feeling anger about everything that's going on. So pause, take 3 deep breaths, and lean into whatever it is that you're experiencing. So close your eyes if you haven't done so already and let your hands rest on your thighs. And just welcome yourself, however you're feeling right now. There's no right or wrong. You compassionately, kindly welcome yourself. Acknowledge how you're feeling physically, emotionally, mentally. And just pause and actually feel it. Take 3 deep breaths. You're welcome to breathe in your nose and exhale out your mouth. Or breathe in and out through your nose. And then lean into your experience. Get curious about what you're feeling. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, palms touching. We'll begin with the sound of Om one time. You're welcome to join in on your own, or you can just simply listen. Please exhale completely. Take a full breath in. May the fruits of our practice be for the upliftment of all beings. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And may all beings know true joy and love and the causes of true joy and love. Thanks so much. You can release your hands and open your eyes. And we'll start standing today. So you can come up to the front of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. We're just going to start to move with the breath, so get a little bouncy in your knees. As you inhale, you're going to reach your arms straight forward, a little bend in the knees like you're sitting into an imaginary chair, and then exhale, bring your arms back down. So just sweep the arms straight forward, palms face each other for the first time. Please don't go really low in your squat yet. We're just kind of warming up. Little bend in the knees. Reach through your fingertips as you stretch up. It's early, so you might feel tight in your shoulders, so you might just reach halfway up. Some of you might reach all the way straight up to the sky. So as you inhale, little bend in your knees, sit back into your chair, reach your arms up. As you exhale, bring your arms back down, straighten your legs. A couple more like that. So warming up the knees, the hips, the ankles, the shoulders. And then we'll move sideways. So you're going to exhale, give yourself a big hug, wrap in, and then inhale, open up, squeeze your shoulder blades back. As you exhale and wrap in, you can give a little bend in your knees, sit into your imaginary chair. As you inhale, open your chest, squeeze your shoulders back. Exhale, little bend in your knees, give yourself a hug. You can even look down at the floor when you do that one. And then inhale, open up, squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back. A few more times, again, warming up the knees, the ankles, the hips, the shoulders. Starting to link breathing with movement. When you open up, draw your shoulder blades. Those are the bones on your upper back. Feel like you could draw them down your back. One more time, open up. And then relax your arms by your sides. Please give a little bend in your knees. Sit back like you're sitting into a chair. Pull your belly muscles in nice and strong. Now you're going to take your arms out to the side, palms face forward. Pretend like you could pull your elbows down towards the floor and your chest more up to the sky. You don't actually move, but as if you could, you're really trying to pull those elbows down to activate the muscles in your back. And then exhale, stand up. And we'll do that a few times. So inhale, bend the knees. Take the elbows out to the side, bend the elbows. Draw your elbows down. Pull your chest up towards the sky. Almost like you're trying to pull, like do a pull-up. Pull your chest up. And then stand up, straighten your arms. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, palms face forward. Pull the elbows down. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Feel those upper back muscles work. Straighten your legs, stand up. 2 more times. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. Pull those elbows like you're pulling them down to the floor. Stand up. Last one. Bend your elbows, bend your knees. Pull your elbows down. Think like you're pulling your chest up, like you're doing a pull-up. And then stand up, straighten your arms. All right. Inhale, reach your arms up, touch the sky. Wait for your exhale. Give a little bend in your knees. Fold forward, touch the floor. Or touch blocks if you have blocks nearby. The backs of the legs might feel kind of tight because this is the first thing in the morning, so please bend your knees as much as you need to make it feel better on the backs of the legs and your low back. You can even walk in place, kind of bending one knee, bending the other knee, feeling the difference from side to side. And then step your left leg back behind you, coming into a lunge pose. Hands are on either side of the foot, either on blocks or the floor. Squeeze your back leg, pull your inner thighs towards each other, make your belly nice and strong. Bring your right hand to your hip. Open your chest to the right. And instead of bringing the hand up to the sky today, let's bring your hand behind your head. So your right hand hold behind your head, like kind of where your head meets your neck. And you're going to draw your shoulder blade down toward your back pocket. Push your head into your hand. Look straight ahead at the wall or wherever you're looking. And push your head back into your hand. Use that to twist your chest open to the right. Belly stays strong. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Really draw your right shoulder blade down your back, like you could pull it to your back pocket. And then inhale, release. Step forward, switch sides. So lunge pose. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Squeeze your right butt cheek. Make your belly muscles nice and strong. Bring your left hand to your hip. Open your chest to the left. Bring your left hand behind your head, right where your head meets your neck. Your left elbow is kind of right in line with your left ear. Draw your left shoulder blade down your back, like you're trying to pull your left shoulder blade down to your right back pocket. Now twist your chest open to the left. Keep squeezing your right butt muscle. Keep squeezing your inner thighs towards each other. And inhale to release that left hand down. Please step back into downward facing dog. So spread your fingers. Spread your toes. You can keep a little bend in your knees as you lift your hips high to the sky. You're welcome to walk in place if that feels good this morning. Opening up the backs of the legs. And you just feel your experience. Feel from side to side. Feel the intensity of it, like you're leaning into the sensations. And then you notice, okay, what happens if I really push my fingertips into the floor? What if I really push my whole hand like I'm trying to make my arms longer? What does that do? What does that feel like? So you get curious about your experience and the movements in your body. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. You're welcome to bring your knees down to the floor. And then you're going to lower all the way down to your belly. Reach your arms by your sides, palms face down to the floor. Before you go up, tuck your imaginary tail under so you push your pubic bone down into the floor and you feel your belly lift away from the floor. Now before you go up, just lift the fronts of the shoulders away from the floor and draw your shoulder blades down your back towards your back pockets. Don't lose your core though, keep your core strong. Then lift your arms up and your legs up. So really important that you draw those shoulder blades. We're going to focus on that a lot today. Draw those shoulder blades down your back. Your shoulder blades are those bones on your upper back. They kind of look like triangles. You're pulling them down towards your back pockets to activate the muscles in the sort of the mid and the upper back. So feel that strength in your upper back. Feel the strength in your legs to lift the legs up. And then slowly release down. Rest a cheek. Now you're going to take your arms out to a T. I got to slide away from the wall a little bit. Arms out to a T, palms face down to the floor. Same thing. Tuck your imaginary tail, push your pubic bone in towards the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. So you'll feel the fronts of the shoulders lift away from the floor when you do that. Now lift your arms up, lift your legs up. Keep drawing those shoulder blades down your back. Look down at your mat. It's better for your neck. Keep tucking your imaginary tail. Keep that core strong as you lift up. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. And inhale to release. Press back into downward facing dog. On an in-breath, step your right foot between your hands. Bring your back knee down to the floor. So if you want to pat it, please do so. Bring your hands to your hips. Your back knee lines right up, right underneath that left hip. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Squeeze your left butt muscle. Bend your elbows out to the side, kind of that same W position. Pretend like you're trying to pull yourself up, so you're pulling your elbows down to the floor. You're drawing your shoulder blades down your back, like you're crossing them to your opposite back pockets. Your chest is lifting up to the sky, but keep your belly nice and strong so you don't overly arch your back. So you're opening up the upper back as you draw the shoulder blades down the back. Deep breathing. Inhale to release. Switch sides. Left foot comes forward. Squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Squeeze your right butt. Bend your elbows. Palms face forward. Same thing, pull the elbows down. So the opening is in the upper back. Feel the chest rise, but pull your belly and your ribs back so you don't kind of overly arch in your low and mid back. Open your chest up. Feel that activation of the muscles in the upper back as you open up. Inhale to release. Step back into plank pose. Again, you can be on your knees and then lower all the way down to your belly. Keep drawing those shoulder blades down your back as you go. This time you're going to bend your knees and make your heels touch. Bend your elbows just like you did a minute ago, kind of like that W or goalpost. Before you do anything, pause. Take 3 breaths. And then lean into your experience. So tuck your imaginary tail, push your pubic bone down into the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, then lift your arms up off the floor. As you squeeze your heels together, some of you might be able to lift your knees off the floor. There shouldn't be any compression in your low back. If there is, don't lift up so high or push your pubic bone into the floor more. Draw those shoulder blades down your back. Feel your neck get long when you do that. Open your chest towards the floor. Hang in there, breathe, lean into this experience. And then inhale, release. Press back in a downward facing dog, however you want to get there. And even here in your down dog, imagine you can draw your shoulder blades down your back. And when you do that, you'll feel like you sink to the floor a little bit, like your head gets closer to the floor. Imagine you can keep drawing your shoulder blades down your back towards your back pockets and at the same time push into the floor. Try to move your head away from the floor as you lift your hips higher to the sky. On an in-breath, step your right foot between your hands, coming into a lunge pose. You can always bring your back knee down to the floor for balance support. Back knee lifted for this one. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Keep a little bend in your elbows. Draw the fronts of the shoulders back. Open your chest forward. Keep your belly and your ribs moving back so that you don't overly extend your spine. Start to extend your knuckles back behind you. You're welcome to hold a strap or a towel if it's too much to interlace your fingers. Open your chest forward. Keeping that little bend in the elbows, imagine that you could push your elbows apart right to left. They don't actually move, but feel like they could. Squeeze your left butt. Drive your right heel down into the floor. And breathe. Inhale to slowly release your hands. Release them to the floor, and then switch sides. So you can always bring your back knee down. Hold your strap or towel or interlace fingers. Little bend in the elbows. Extend your knuckles back. Open your heart forward. Deep breath. Squeeze your right butt as you open your chest up. Pull your belly and your ribs back so the opening happens in the upper chest and back. Feel like you can push your elbows apart right to left, but they don't actually move. Inhale, release your hands. Touch the floor, step back, plank pose. You can come to your knees or lower down straight legs. Draw those shoulder blades down your back as you lower. Take your arms out to the sides again, so if you need to shift away from a wall. This time, have your thumbs point up to the sky. Before you go up, tuck your imaginary tail, pull your belly in. Before you go up, draw your shoulder blades down your back. You'll feel like the front of the shoulders lift away from the floor. Now lift your arms up, lift your legs up. Almost imagine you could try to spin your thumb back towards your toes more. That's called external rotation in your shoulder, and you'll feel the back of your shoulder really activate. Those muscles really turn on. Keep looking down at the mat. Make your head long. Reach forward with the top of the head. And inhale, release. Rest your cheek to the floor. Pause and feel your breath. Feel your experience. Interlace your fingers behind your low back or use your strap. Keep a little bend in your elbows. Tuck your tail under, push your pubic bone into the floor. Lift the fronts of the shoulders away from the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down to your back pockets. Then lift your legs up. Reach your knuckles and your toes back. Reach the top of the head forward. Really push your pubic bone into the floor to protect your low back. Don't lift up so high if you have any pain in your low back. Inhale to release. Press back, downward facing dog. On an in-breath, step your right foot forward, lunge. You can always bring that back knee down to the floor. Bend your elbows, goalpost arms. Pull your elbows down like you're pulling your chest up. Draw those shoulder blades down your back and open your chest forward. Now reach your arms straight up and pull down again. Open your chest up, elbows down. Reach your arms straight. Couple more times, pull down like you're pulling, doing a pull-up. Draw those shoulder blades down your back. One more time, reach your arms straight, and then pull down. Pull those elbows down, shoulders down. And inhale, release your hands to the floor. Switch sides, left foot forward, lunge pose. Bend your elbows like goalpost arms. Belly strong, ribs pull back. Pull those elbows down. Imagine you're pulling your shoulder blades down to your opposite back pockets. Then reach your arms straight. And even as you reach your arms straight, feel as if you could pull those shoulder blades down. And then pull your elbows back down. Bend your elbows. Reach up. Bend your elbows. Pull your shoulder blades down. Imagine you're doing a pull-up. Keep squeezing your right butt, straighten your arms. One more time, bend those elbows, pull the shoulder blades down. And exhale, release your hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. Full stretch. Spread your fingers, lift your hips way high to the sky. Walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a forward fold. The back edge of your mat. Give a little bend in your knees. Bring your hands to your hips and pause for a moment so your torso is parallel to the floor. Your knees are bent. Squeeze your elbows so they point up to the sky and pull the fronts of the shoulders away from the floor. Then come all the way up to stand with a flat back. Good work. Come to face the long edge of your mat. Turn your right toes to face the front, and the back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Bend your right knee, bring your right elbow to rest on your right thigh for side angle pose. Place your your left hand behind your head. And kind of bring that elbow and that whole left arm right in line with your left ear. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Keep looking straight ahead, but push your head back into your hand like you're giving yourself a double chin. You're tucking your chin in. And push your head back. As you push your head back, feel how you start to open your upper chest up to the sky. You're welcome to follow with your gaze, so your gaze can start to look up at the sky. Keep pushing your head into the hand. Keep drawing your shoulder blades down your back. Tuck your right butt underneath you to help open your chest up even more. Lots of activation in the upper back, so lean into that experience of using those muscles in the sort of mid and upper back. And then inhale, release your hand. Come up to stand. Switch sides. Left toes face the back edge of the mat. Right foot parallel to the back edge or the front edge. Bend your bend your left knee. Bring your left elbow to rest on your left thigh. Bring your right hand behind your head. When you bring your right hand, it kind of hugs right where your head and your neck meet. And bring your elbow, like you bring it by that right ear. Pull your belly in strong. Tuck your imaginary tail under. Draw your shoulder down your back so your chest opens up. Start to push your head back into your hand, and you start to feel how your chest opens up to the sky. You can follow with your gaze, so you start to look up at the sky. Keep pushing your head into your hand. Tuck your chin in slightly. Tuck your left butt under as you open your chest more to the sky. Inhale, release your hand. Come all the way up to stand. Walk your feet together. Find a wall. Hopefully you guys have a wall available. If not, you can do the interlace of the fingers that we've been doing. You could do this stretch. But if you have a wall, let's bring the right hand to the wall. Give a little bend in your right elbow, and your right hand is a little bit higher than your right shoulder. Draw your right shoulder blade down your back. Really feel that muscle activation right at the tip of the shoulder blade. It pulls the shoulder blade down. Keep it. Now start to walk your toes and turn your chest away from the wall. Imagine you could push your hand into the wall more. And also imagine like you could sweep your inner elbow more forward, which is called external rotation of your shoulder, and you'll get even more activation in the muscle in the back of your shoulder, and you'll get even more stretch in the front of your chest. Reversing all of that computer work we've been doing. Keep your belly and your ribs pulling back. Keep your head in line with your shoulders. Inhale to slowly release. Other side, so your left hand is at the wall. Left hand's about as high as the left shoulder. Keep a little bend in the elbow. Draw the left shoulder blade down your back, towards your back pockets. Now start to turn your toes and your chest away from the wall. Keeping that little bend in the elbow, but imagine you could push into the wall with your hand in order to twist your chest away from the wall. Feel like you could push that left inner elbow forward, and as you do so, you'll feel more activation in the back of the shoulder, and you'll feel more stretch in the front of the chest. Belly and ribs back, head in line with spine. Breathe. And then inhale to slowly release. All right, if you have a blanket or a towel, you can put it down on the floor, and hopefully where you have that wall space, you don't need much. We're going to do a thigh stretch. If you have blocks, you can bring them with you. So we're going to and I'm going to do this facing away from the wall so you can see me. Step your right foot forward, and you're going to put your left toes at the wall. So imagine I'm at a wall right now, and I have my toes kind of against the wall. Tuck your imaginary tail under on the left side, like you're tucking or wrapping your pelvis under. You can keep your hands on the floor to start. That's a big stretch of the front of the left thigh. You can stay there, or you can bring your hands up to your front thigh, which is a really big stretch. Try not to stick your butt back to the wall. Think instead you're pushing your pelvis slightly forward towards your right foot. Lift, and imagine you could lift your belly up more away from the floor and feel that deep stretch through the front of the left hip. Pull the belly up towards the sky. You're welcome to reach your arms up, which will make it a little bit more intense, or you can stay right where you are with your hands at your hips. Keep your right hand at your hip. Reach your left arm up and give a little crescent side stretch. So you're reaching over, feel that big stretch through the front of the hip. If this is too much for anybody, take the foot off the wall and simply be here with the foot down on the floor. You can do the same exact thing. With the foot at the wall, you just get a different muscle group. Now bring your left hand to your right knee and twist over like you're twisting your torso to the right. Keep squeezing your left butt. Lean into that experience in the front of that left hip and left thigh. Inhale to release, and then we'll switch sides. So you can do that whole thing without the foot on the wall. If it's too much in the front of the hip, you can take the foot down and be with the foot down on the floor. So squeeze your butt, tuck your imaginary tail under, and move your pelvis towards your left foot. If you have the foot at the wall, it's going to be more of an intense stretch through the front of that hip. You can keep your hands at blocks, or you can bring your hands up to your thigh, or you can reach your arms up to the sky. Keep tucking your imaginary tail under and move your pelvis towards your left foot. Bring your left hand to your hip. Reach your right arm up and stretch up and over like you're doing a little crescent moon shape with your torso. And feel that stretch through the front of the right hip. If you have your foot on the wall, really push your foot into the wall. Now bring your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. You can keep your left hand at your hip and twist. So you're twisting your torso over your left leg. Keep squeezing your right butt. Lengthen your torso. Inhale to slowly unwind. Step back into hands and knees on your mat, and then step back into downward facing dog. Full stretch. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. It's hard to do that when your hands are connected to the floor. Now keep that, but push your hands into the floor like you're trying to push your head away from the floor. When you do that, you'll feel like your shoulder blades aren't on your back anymore. So you have to try to do both at the same time, just enough of each of them to balance out the action. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Go wide to the right side of your mat. If you need to, pad your knee. The left knee is on the floor. So my hands are to the inside of the front foot. You can stay here. You can come down onto your elbows. You can come onto blocks if you can't quite get to your elbows. It's a deep bend in the front knee. So it's a lot of mobility in the front ankle. It's also a big stretch in through your right groin. You might feel a stretch in the front of the left hip. So just notice for you. Pull your belly in strong. And even here, draw your shoulder blades down your back. At the same time, push gently through your elbows into the floor. If you're on your elbows, walk back up. We're going to take it into a twist. So bring your right hand to your hip. Reach your right arm up to the sky. That's option 1. Option 2 is to bend your left knee, reach around, right hand holds the foot. As you pull your foot in, you'll feel a deep stretch through the front of the left thigh. Open your chest to the right, so it's a twisted thigh stretch. Pull your belly in, tuck your imaginary tail under, and you'll feel like you get space through the front of your right hip. That will allow you to twist open more. You're welcome to come onto that left elbow, those of you that are doing the thigh stretch. If you can't quite hold the foot, you could always put a strap or a towel around the foot in order to make your arm a little bit longer. And you could pull in like this. Stay on the center of the left knee as you twist open. Inhale to slowly release that side. Press back into downward facing dog. Spread your fingers. Kick your right leg back behind you. Bend your right knee. Twist your hips open like you're stacking your right hip on top of your left. Breathe through the left side of your body. Get long on the left side of your torso. Left armpit forward, left pelvis back. Stay long. Release that side. Second side, left foot steps forward, wide to the left side of your mat, right knee on the floor. My hands are to the inside of the left foot. You can stay here. You can come onto your elbows. You can come onto blocks. Choose the option that allows you to breathe deeply. That allows you to engage the muscles around the pelvis by pulling the left heel back and drawing the right knee forward. So you feel not only stretching, but you feel muscle activation. Pull your belly in. So if at any point it feels too intense, you come back up onto your hands. If you're on your elbows, walk back up onto your hands. Option 1, left hand to your hip. Twist open, reach your left arm up to the sky, and breathe. Option 2, bend your right knee. Flare your toes out to protect your ankle and knee joint. Keep flaring the toes as you hold the foot with the left hand. Open your chest like you're stacking your shoulders and drawing your shoulder blades down your back. You're welcome to stay there. Come down onto that right elbow. As you draw the shoulders down your back, pull your belly and your ribs back behind you more so you get the stretch in the upper chest and back, not in the low back. Stay in the center of your right knee as you twist open. Inhale to slowly release. Press back into plank pose, top of a push-up. You can bring your knees to the floor and then lower all the way down to your belly. Hands are on either side of the chest. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Spread your fingers. Pull your belly in, push your pubic bone into the floor. Before you go up, draw the shoulder blades down to your back pockets. Then start to push into your hands. You might lift a couple inches off the floor for cobra. You might be able to push down and lift up a little bit higher. Draw your shoulder blades down your back towards your back pockets. That's the most important thing. Pretend like you could pull the palms of your hands back and your chest forward, coming into your cobra. Inhale to release all the way down, and then press yourself back up to hands and knees. If you have a blanket, please use it. We're going to do camel pose, which is such a hard pose. Oh, this is a really hard one. I feel very uncomfortable when I do this pose. If you have a block, you can put it between your inner thighs. It's nice to have. We're going to do the pose twice. So, option for the first one, keep your hands at your hips. This is such a hard pose because you have to fight gravity. Gravity's trying to draw you like from the top of your head, trying to push you down. So you have to use all your core muscles to lift up against that. So the most common thing in camel pose is that we feel discomfort in our low back. So you have to really fight gravity and lift up. So squeeze your block or your imaginary block between your inner thighs. Use your hands to push down into your knees. That will help you fight gravity, help you lift up. Squeeze your butt muscles a lot. You can stay right here. You just hold your pelvis. You're pushing down and you're lifting your chest up. Squeeze your shoulder blades down your back. You can push your pelvis forward slightly. Draw the sides of the neck back and ears back. Some of you might choose to bring your hands to your foot, each like kind of heel. Remember, we're going to do this again, so I'll do that the second round. Squeeze your butt, push your pelvis forward slightly. As you come up, your head is the last thing that comes up. Okay, so we're going to do the pose again. If you have blocks, you can put blocks on the outside of the heels or books. If you don't have them, it's okay. It's just an option. This time when we do it, you're going to have one hand. It doesn't matter which hand, whatever works for you. One hand at your pelvis, one hand behind your head. So with the hand at the pelvis, I want you to push down towards your knees. With the hand on your head, I want you to push your head back into your hand, just like we've been doing earlier. Draw both shoulder blades down your back and open your chest up to the sky. You don't have to go any further than here. Just push your hips forward slightly. If you want to go forward, you can bring the hand to the block that's on the outside of the foot or to the foot. Push your head into your hand, squeeze your butt muscles, lift your hips forward and your heart up to the sky. I love this version of having my hand behind my head because it really protects my neck. You can switch sides and put the other hand down and then put the other hand behind the head. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, squeeze your butt, push your pelvis forward. Inhale to come up and then take child's pose. Super challenging pose, so if you felt kind of uncomfortable, know that you're in good company. Most of us probably did. And we just learn. We get curious about, okay, how could we engage better? How can we make the pose pain-free, feel a little bit better? And then sometimes it just is what it is. It's not a comfortable pose. It's really hard pose. Let your heart rate settle. Let your breathing rate settle. Feel the stretch in your low back. Come back up to hands and knees. Okay, so options here. We're going to come into side plank. So let's be on the left hand. You can be on the left knee, and the right leg can be long. And you can come into side plank like this. Option 2, side plank with your left leg straight. Step your right foot in front of you. Push into the floor with that left hand. Draw your left shoulder blade down your back. Open your chest up to the sky. Step 3, for those of you that know the pose, you can step your right foot behind you, taking it into wild thing. As you push your hips up to the sky, you can put your right hand behind your head. Push your head back, tuck your chin in, open your chest up to the sky. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down your back as you open up. Remember, there's lots of options. You do the option that feels best for your body. Inhale to slowly come out of whatever option you're in. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. So the right hand goes down. The right knee can be down. The left leg is straight. Side plank option 1. Side plank option 2, the right leg goes straight. The left foot steps in front. Draw both shoulder blades, but especially the bottom arm, the right arm. Draw that shoulder blade down your back and then push into that right hand. You can reach your left arm up to the sky. Option 3 is you step the left foot behind you, coming into wild thing. So you have to push your hand into the floor. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Left hand behind your head. Draw the shoulder blades down your back and open your chest up to the sky. Push into that bottom hand. Open up. And then inhale to slowly release. Come to lay on your back. Bend your knees, feet hip distance apart on the floor. We're going to set up for bridge pose. We're going to do bridge pose twice. Start with elbows bent, palms face each other. Keep your belly muscles really strong. So pull your belly button towards your spine. Push your heels down to lift your hips up. So you can stay here and push your elbows down to the floor and do a little shimmy where you shimmy your shoulders underneath you slightly and lift your hips up. Option 2 is hold the sides of the mat with your hands and pretend like you could pull the mat apart right to left. Keep squeezing your butt and tucking your imaginary tail under to protect your low back. Option 3 is you can interlace your fingers underneath of you. Keep a little bend in your elbows if you're doing that, please. And as you push the shoulders down into the floor, almost feel like you could pull your elbows apart. They don't actually move, but feel like you could. Open your heart towards your chin. Deep breathing. It's super uncomfortable the longer you hold it, so breathe into it, lean into it. No pain in your low back. If you feel any pain, don't lift up so high or squeeze your belly or your butt muscles more and see if that helps. And then slowly come back down. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Close your eyes. And just feel. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the heaviness of your body on the floor. Lean into the experience of the rest and recovery. The in-between spaces between poses. We'll do bridge pose one more time. So your feet are hip distance apart, elbows are bent. Palms face each other. Belly stays strong, push through your heels to lift your hips up. Take whatever option works for you. So either the arms just as they are, arms long, hold the sides of the mat, shimmy your shoulders under, interlace your fingers, whatever works. If there's anybody in the room that knows what full Urdhva Dhanurasana is or full wheel pose and you practice that and you feel comfortable doing that, you can place your hands on either side of your head and then come up into full wheel pose. Whichever option you're doing, feel like you could draw those shoulder blades down your back as you open your heart towards your chin. Push into your feet. Push especially into your heels. Feel those back muscles. Open your heart. And then slowly lower down. Again, bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and just feel the experience. Feel the recovery. Deep breathing. Take your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Knees stay bent. Take your arms out to a T. Keep your feet wide. Just drop your knees to the right. If it's okay in your neck, you can look over your left shoulder. Feel the stretch in your left low back. Maybe the front of your left hip. Squeeze your left butt slightly and lengthen your left knee like you could lengthen it away from your head. Inhale, come back up. Keep your feet wide, just drop your knees to the left. Look over the right shoulder if that's okay, on your neck. Gentle squeeze of your right butt and lengthen your right knee away from your head. And then inhale, come back to center. You can cross your left ankle on top of your right thigh for a piriformis or butt stretch. You can stay right here. You can hold behind your right leg, interlace your fingers, draw your legs towards you. Flex your feet and really push your left ankle into your right knee so that you can always push your left knee away from you even though you're drawing your legs towards you. That will intensify the stretch in the outer left hip. Just lean into and breathe into that experience of the stretch. And release that side. Second side, cross your right ankle on top. Interlace your fingers, hold behind your left thigh. Draw the legs towards you. Push that right ankle into your left thigh and feel like you could use the muscles of your outer right hip to push that right knee away from you, even as you pull your legs towards you. You can use your right elbow and gently push that right knee away from you, but don't force the stretch. Don't push it too much. Just go wherever is comfortable. And then release that side. Start with both knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Interlace your fingers and hold behind your left leg so that your left knee is kind of right on top of your left hip. Start to straighten the leg. You might get it halfway straight. Some of you might be able to get it all the way straight. Flare your toes and imagine you could pull your toes down towards your head. Think more about pushing your leg into your hands. It's not so much about getting your foot to move towards your head. Think more push the leg into the interlace of your fingers. Back is flat on the floor, so that might mean the leg doesn't straighten as much. And your whole butt lifts off the floor. Don't straighten the leg as much. Feel the sensation behind that left leg. And then release. Second side, interlace your behind the right leg. Move towards straighter right leg, maybe quarter of the way, halfway, all the way straight. Strong, and then push your leg into the interlaced fingers. Draw your right toes down towards your head. You flare them and flex your foot. Release that side. You can hug both knees in towards your chest, give them a squeeze. You can take the knees a little bit wider apart and rock side to side gently if it feels good on your low back. And then allow your legs to reach long in front of you for Shavasana. Let your body be heavy. Let yourself totally relax into the floor, into your experience. And most likely this is the hardest pose. Shavasana is a time when emotions can come up and you start getting distracted now that you're not doing physical poses. So you just lean into whatever you're experiencing. There's no right or wrong, just feel it, acknowledge it. Pause, breathe, and lean in. In yoga traditions, there is a practice of using sound and song and repetition of words. And I will sing a little repetition of words. And the repetition of words is just kind of sing to yourself. You're reminding yourself that you have the strength and the ability to sit with these emotions and this experience. So we honor that space within us. We call it our inner teacher, our guru. So that's what the repetition of these sounds means. Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Gurudev, Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Bring your attention back to sound. Allow your breath to deepen. Move and stretch in any ways that feel best for you. When you're ready, you can bend your knees, roll to your right side, rest there for a few moments. Thank your body for its support. Thank yourself for showing up to practice. We're so grateful for all of our teachers that have paved the way before us, that have offered us insights into how to navigate times like these. So get curious about the emotion, lean into it, fully experience it. Use your hands to press yourself back to a seated position. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. With my whole heart, I thank you so much for coming to be with each other and be with me in this virtual space. It's the best we can do. We can't be in physical space together, so this is the next best thing. The light that is me bows to and acknowledges the light that is you. Namaste.